All right, today I'm going to make you better as a question solver. I'm going to teach you how I think through questions so that you can think the way that I think and we can get questions right together. How's that sound? All right, so let me pop me up at the top. Here we go. Now, every time I solve a question, I'm boring, dude. I do it the same way because boring works and boring wins, all right? So we read the last sentence first. What will you do during the next sprint planning meeting? All right, so it's telling us what the goal is. In the next sprint planning meeting, what are we going to do? All right, I'm there. Now I go back up and I think about the context. Now, you got to slow down. You got to put yourself into action. You got to feel it, taste it. You got to be there. Do that with me. You're an agile product owner and you have begun creating user stories with stakeholders, subject matter experts, and various members of your project team to go into the product backlog. So that seems like a good thing. That's like you're getting your backlog aligned. You're talking to the right people. You're not doing it alone. Good job, us, as the product owner. It says you have created multiple cards. Cool, cool, cool. Added requirements to them, their criticality and acceptance criteria. Good for, dude, we're killing it in this fantasy thing. All right. So is the question you want to ask is that the right thing to do? Of course it is. Product owner owns that backlog, owns the vision, gets things aligned, boom, boom, boom. What will we do next during sprint planning? So here's the big mistake that you're going to make right now. You're going to go sprint planning. I understand the concept. You're going to read all the questions, answers like fast. Don't do it. I'm taking them away from you. What I want you to do instead, and this, as you get better, will happen like instantaneously. It'll happen fast if you know the concepts, okay? We're going to say, we understand where we are. What are we going to do when we walk into sprint planning? Now, to have that rapid fire give you an answer, you got to know what sprint planning is all about. Okay, so let me teach you. This is to help you build you up. Sprint planning. It's the kickoff of the sprint. Duh, right? Right at the beginning. Now, it's the first thing that happens. So what do we need to do? Well, it involves the product owner and the dev team. And what we're essentially trying to do is have a smooth handoff of the work in a way that the team understands it, estimates it, brings in the right, the right amount of work and the right way, and has a good chance of getting it done within the 2 weeks. So we got to execute that handoff. It's not like, hey, here's a bunch of work, catch it and throw it at them. Nah, dude. There has to be a process. So picture a 4-hour meeting, plus or minus, could be less. Now, the way I want you to think about it is the focus and the responsibility shifts through the meeting. It starts out with the product owner. And for those listening, I'm drawing 2 triangles that layer on top of each other. So like the big side of the triangle is the product owner saying, like right when they come in, the product owner starts with one statement. What is it? It's like, hey, the goal of this sprint is to do blah for a specific reason. Why are they doing that? Is because they've got to tell the dev team why this matters, what the goal is, systematically, strategically, how this fits in the whole game. It, in a sense, is hooking the team, the dev team, to feel like they're emotionally connected to the action, right? Okay? And then they can ask some questions back. So that goal is the product owner's sprint goal. They'll state that. Now, does it mean that the team should just sit and take it? They have to ask questions. Why is this valuable? Who's going to value the most? How'd you come about this? Other things like that. So there's a little bit of pushback there, back and forth. Now, additionally, second thing, the product owner, this is more like the 50-50 camp, is where the product owner says, here is what I think can be done to do this. So they're going to have the product backlog items, PBIs, and say, this is what I think meets the sprint goal, delivers it. And then the team starts to put their hands on it, starts to look at it, starts to ask very pointed questions. If you're a scrum master in one of these meetings and it's like, okay, and there's no pushback and questions and clarifying, you need to pause it and say like, hey dudes, ask some questions, get an understanding. Come on. Because we need the team to push back and start to pull it apart and challenge it so we can get a realization. Who's it valuing or who's it supporting? What problems does it solve? How do they envision it like coming to be and being used? What are the acceptance criteria? What are the limitations that we have? What are these other things that they need to know? All that stuff so the team can get a picture about how hard it's going to be and how they're going to go about doing it. And as they do that, they're going to start, owning that work, those tasks, going down to the bottom, whereas they're taking the lion's share. They're taking the work handoff, and they're going to be able to estimate and plan and do these things and say, based on our understanding, we believe that we can take these out there. See the team as like turning to each other and starting to like huddle and figure it out, right? Now, I'm telling you all this stuff so that you can instantly make these connections later, right? So the dev team starts to say, we can take these off the shelf, the product backlog. We can bring these in. We feel confident we can do it. We know what you're doing. Let's roll. And they put that into the sprint backlog, okay? The sprint, I got to spell well. Sprint backlog. Yeah, you get it. Sprint backlog, right? And then they're off and running. Daily stand-ups, scrums, whatever, daily, okay? So sweet. So the more we know every concept, the quickness that this happens. So now I'll let you see the answers. Let's go to each one by himself. Look at A, because we have established in our mind what we think is right. Let's go to A. Place the cards on the Kanban board so the team can clearly see the future work. Good or bad? Kanban board's a real thing, right? A visual way of showing work. So that's good. Should we place the cards on the thing? No. Because they're talking about the Kanban board for the sprint, right? It is not the product owner's domain to dictate the tasks, the user stories that are there. The team brings it in, the team breaks it down, the team assigns it to each other, the team statuses it through, the team completes the work autonomously, right? Self-managing, self-organizing. So no, that's not what we do. You're missing the point. B, prioritize the card in the upcoming sprint backlog to ensure the work gets done. Some people will say the product owner is responsible for getting the work done. Wrong. What's wrong with B? Who prioritizes the cards in the upcoming sprint? The team. But before that, we've got to figure it out. So that's no good. C, product owner have a conversation with the developers about how the software will be used. Confirm the acceptance criteria and the definition of done. Might we have led ourselves in our logical thinking early above to say we need to go from sprint goal down to them owning it, right? And choosing the work. This is how we do it. Conversation is the key term. With the developers, product owners, developers, we drew the picture. So if we know the concepts, we already know the answer, right? Sweet. That's why taking a bajillion questions is a waste of time if you don't do it the right way. Cool. So we're going to hold on to it. Maybe there's a better thing in there, but I love this because it's saying, do they understand the team? Why we're doing it? What done looks like? What level of quality we're done? That's the definition of done. So the D, collaborate with the Scrum Master, product owner and the Scrum Master, explaining the feature details to ensure risks are captured. What's wrong with that? Well, the Scrum Master is going to be involved in all this stuff, but it's not the Scrum Master's job to write stuff down and record things and do those things. The collaboration needs to be handled through the team back and forth. So no. This says nothing about the team there. So easy peasy lemon squeezy, the answer's C. So what can we learn here? How you approach things matter. You can use every question to squeeze the goodness. Do you think my ranting helped you learn about sprint planning? I hope so, because you listened to me. But right now, we've put ourselves in the situation and we're better prepared for next time. Missing potholes, as point number 2, is just as important as knowing where you're going. The pothole that you would face is if you ran like a cheetah through all these things, through the answers, and you bumbled yourself up. That's called rushing and stabbing in my vernacular. All right, I made the concept up. You made the concept of like running. I just named it. All right. If we stop ourselves from doing that, we clean up our brain. Let's do another one for fun. All right. What are we doing first, guys? We're reading the last sentence. What should the project manager do in response to the customer's request? So the project manager, first of all, when they say project manager, it automatically leads me to waterfall, but I know PMI is going to be a little loose with the term. Could be hybrid, could be those things, could mean Scrum Master kind of thing. So we'll hold on to it. What should you do to the customer's request? Okay, cool. So we got a customer request. Go back to the base. Let's get some context. Let's put ourselves into action. A customer requests a change in the technical approach for a product. currently in development. The project manager learns about this request during a reoccurring project review meeting. What should the project manager do in response to the request? So let me take the answers away for those watching. What are we going to do? I feel like the technical approach, we got to determine whose authority or who best is prepared to nail down what the right approach for doing a thing, building a thing. Now, does it say contractually obligated technical approach or government mandated or something like that? No. It just says, hey, they recommend, oh, we should do it this way. Maybe they're a past developer or welder or whatever. Oh, we ought to do it this way. In reality, the people closest to the work are going to be empowered to define the technical approach. So what do? I think that we should ask the developers, evaluate them, have it evaluated, choose what's best, because who knows, these people that are promoting it, the new idea, might be nailing it on the head, but we've got to confirm it. And then from there, we make a decision, we go with what's best, and we communicate with the people that said, hey, do it this way, to say, we looked into it, we're going this direction for this reason, easy peasy lemon squeezy, and we deal with that relationship. Strengthen the bonds through, critical conversations. That's, boom, instantaneous what you would think, right? I just slowed it down. But you got to stop and think. Answers, where are you? There you are. A, have the team decide on the appropriate approach. All right, cool. That's what I said in my brain. Sweet. Give them the authority to implement their decision. Sweet. So we're going to go with what's right because we're going to evaluate and then validate the decision with talks with the stakeholders. So we're going to double, triple check it. That sounds good. Let's see if there's a better one in the clubhouse. B, work with the team members to immediately implement the new approach. Anytime a question throws immediately at you, be wary, or an answer. So, but implement the new approach just because they said it. No, first of all, if the approach changes things, we might need to change either, get approval from the product owner or if it is a hybrid thing and there is a baseline, we might need to do that too. So immediately bad. Work with the team members to immediately, there's been no evaluation, there's been no understanding, there's been no nothing. This is just a scared tactic. Don't go there. C, discuss the pros and cons of the approach with the, I like that part, pros and cons, with the stakeholders. So who's missing? The dev team, the developers, the workers, right? The dude's closest to the work. The dudettes closest to the work. So I like most of that, not this part. Oopsie doopsie. Then select the approach that is best for the team. Okay, best for the team or best for the solution, right? Like I think it's better for the best for the product, for that, right? And notify the team members. So this is bad on a lot of reasons. We're not bringing the team in, that's bad. We're seeing what's best for the team without consulting them, that's bad. Notifying them without their appreciation, that's bad. 3 bads make a double bad. Bad. It's bad. D, in order to obtain sponsor buy-in, have the team benchmark the approach. So the assumption on the front half is that we need sponsor buy-in. I don't think we do, right? I think we need the team to define and then benchmark the approach. Well, okay, that might be in the evaluation process, but solely benchmark based on this thing? No, this is a very specific answer with a specific technique benchmark. There are certain scenarios where benchmarking is ideal, is the thing you want to do. But is this the situation? Does anything lead you to say, oh, we must look out at somebody else and say, have they done this in the past? I don't think so. Not necessarily. We might be able to make this decision internally through the evaluation, right? So no, gone. A, C, D, B, C, D, gone. How about it? Yay, we get it right. So yet again, put yourself in the game, know where you're going, make your own decisions, evaluate the answers off what your heart, gut, and learning tell you. If you get to the point where you're like, I don't know, listen to the words that you just said. You don't know. Running faster into an area where you don't know just means you're going to get confused. So cherish, I don't know what the heck to do in this scenario. So you're stuck here, learn about it, and then go here. That's how we get it, man. That's how you do it. So I'm excited to solve more questions. I'm going to do a lot of these. I'll do them faster, but fast before good is bad. Good, then fast. Believe me or don't believe me, your success is dependent on which path you take. If you need me, call me, Scott at PMMasterPrep.com, 757-759-5282. I'm the only PMP person in history to give you their phone number, and I probably will be the only one ever. But whatever, dude, call the number because my phone still works. Or go get the trial for my PMP Accelerator, and you can see this stuff for yourself, and we'll go through questions together, and you'll get better. See you later, alligator.